Amara had always believed that words were her greatest weapon. From the moment she stepped into her first debate hall as a young girl, she discovered the power of language, the way a well-placed argument could silence a crowd, the way confidence could bend opinions, the way logic could dismantle even the strongest opposition. By 16, she was no longer just a participant, she was a champion. Her name echoed across schools and competitions, and her sharp tongue became both her pride and her shield. People admired her, yes, but they also feared her. Amara did not lose debates. And more importantly, she did not lose control. Until the day she met Kofi. It was at a Model United Nations conference, one of the largest gatherings of brilliant young minds from across the country. The hall was alive with energy. Voices rising, delegates arguing, placards lifting, chairs scraping against the polished floor. Amara thrived in that chaos. She was representing her assigned country with the same fierce determination she brought to every competition. She stood tall, her voice clear and commanding as she delivered a speech that held the room in rapt attention. Every word was precise, every pause intentional. By the time she finished, there was a ripple of applause, followed by nods of reluctant respect. Even from her rivals. She smiled to herself. Another victory, she thought. But as she returned to her seat, she noticed him. Kofi. He sat quietly at the far end of the hall, his posture relaxed, his expression unreadable. Unlike the others, he had not clapped. He simply watched. Not with admiration, not with intimidation, but with a calm curiosity that unsettled her. Amara frowned. Who was he? She found out soon enough. When the next session began, the topic shifted, and to her mild annoyance, Kofi raised his placard. When he was recognized to speak, he rose slowly, adjusting his simple blazer. There was nothing flashy about him, no dramatic gestures, no commanding tone. But when he spoke, the room grew still. His voice was soft, yet steady. His arguments were not aggressive, yet they were impossible to ignore. He spoke with a quiet clarity that cut through the noise, addressing points others had overlooked, weaving logic with empathy in a way Amara had never quite encountered. She leaned forward slightly. Interesting. By the time he finished, there was no thunderous applause. Just a thoughtful silence, and then, slowly, people began to nod. Amara felt something unfamiliar stir within her. Challenge. The rest of the conference became an unspoken duel between them. Amara countered Kofi's points with her usual sharpness, her words precise and relentless. Kofi responded, not with force, but with calm reasoning, as if he were gently redirecting a storm. And for the first time in a long while, Amara found herself thinking before speaking. Not because she doubted herself, but because she wanted to understand him. After the session, she approached him. "You're good," she said, her tone carrying its usual edge. Kofi looked up at her and smiled faintly. "So are you." That was it. No intimidation. No attempt to outshine her. Just a simple acknowledgement. It irritated her. And intrigued her. Their conversations began cautiously, brief exchanges after sessions, small debates over lunch, and quiet discussions in the corridors. Amara was used to dominating conversations, but with Kofi, she found herself listening more. He told her he was from Enugu. That he was on a scholarship. That he preferred observing people before speaking. She told him about her wins, her ambitions, and her dreams of studying abroad and becoming a renowned lawyer. "You speak like you've already planned your whole life," Kofi said one afternoon. "I have," she replied confidently. "And what happens if something doesn't go according to plan?" Amara smirked. "It always does." Kofi chuckled softly, but there was something in his eyes, a quiet knowing, that made her pause. By the end of the conference, something had changed. Amara, the girl who prided herself on control, found herself looking for Kofi in every room. Waiting for his quiet comments. anticipating his gentle challenges. And when it was time to leave, she felt an unfamiliar heaviness settle in her chest. "Will I see you again?" she asked, trying to sound casual. Kofi hesitated, then nodded. "I hope so." Hope. It was not a promise. But it was enough. Their relationship grew slowly, like a story unfolding in whispers rather than declarations. Calls at night. Messages in between classes. Shared dreams and silent understanding. But not everyone was pleased. Amara's family had always had high expectations for her. They admired her intelligence, her achievements, but they also had a vision for her future. And Kofi did not fit into it. A scholarship student, her mother said one evening, her voice laced with concern. "Amara, you have worked too hard to limit yourself." "He's not a limitation," Amara replied sharply. "He's..." "What is he?" her father interrupted. Amara hesitated. What was Kofi? He was calm where she was fire. He was quiet where she was loud. He was everything she was not, and yet, somehow, everything she needed. "He's important to me," she said finally. But her words did little to change their minds. The distance did not help either. Kofi returned to Enugu. Amara remained in her city. Their lives moved forward, pulling them in different directions. Schoolwork, expectations, responsibilities, it all began to weigh on them. Yet they held on. Through late-night calls and missed messages. Through misunderstandings and reconciliations. Through moments of doubt and reassurance. Until the day everything changed. It was a simple envelope. Cream-colored, official, bearing the seal of a prestigious university abroad. Amara held it in her hands, her heart pounding. This was it. Her dream. Everything she had worked for. She opened it slowly, her eyes scanning the words until they settled on the one sentence that mattered most. "We are pleased to inform you." She had been accepted. A wave of excitement surged through her, but it was quickly followed by something else. Fear. Because she knew what this meant. That evening, she called Kofi. "I got in," she said, her voice trembling slightly. There was a pause on the other end. Then, "That's amazing, Amara. You don't sound surprised." "I'm not," he replied softly. "You've always been meant for great things." His words warmed her, but they also hurt. Because there was something unspoken between them. "So, what happens now?" she asked. Another pause. "I don't know," Kofi admitted. And for the first time, Amara felt the weight of uncertainty. Days turned into weeks. The excitement of her admission was overshadowed by the growing tension between them. Conversations became strained. Silences stretched longer. They both knew the truth, but neither wanted to say it. Until one evening, Kofi finally did. "You should go," he said. Amara's heart clenched. "And us?" Kofi exhaled slowly. Sometimes, love isn't enough to hold two people in the same place. Tears filled her eyes. "So that's it? We just give up?" "It's not giving up," he said gently. "It's choosing what's right for your future." "And what about our future?" Kofi was silent. And in that silence, Amara found her answer. The night before her departure, they met one last time. No arguments. No debates. Just two people standing at the edge of a decision that would change everything. "I used to think I had everything figured out," Amara said softly. Kofi smiled faintly. "And now? Now I realize that life isn't something you can debate your way through." They both laughed quietly, the sound tinged with sadness. "I don't regret meeting you," she added. "Neither do I. And I don't regret loving you." Kofi's eyes softened. "Me neither." They stood there for a moment, holding on to each other, not as champions or dreamers, but as two hearts that had found something rare and beautiful, even if only for a while. "Take care of yourself, Amara," Kofi said. "You too, Kofi." And just like that, they let go. Amara left the next day. She pursued her dreams, just as she had always planned. She achieved great things, just as everyone expected. But she never forgot the boy who taught her that not all victories are measured in wins. And not all losses are failures. As for Kofi, he continued his journey, quietly building his own path, carrying with him the memory of a girl who had once challenged his silence and changed his world. And so, their story became a lesson whispered through time. That love is not always about holding on. Sometimes, it is about letting go. Because true love does not chain you to a choice, it sets you free to become who you are meant to be. And in that freedom, even a goodbye can become something beautiful.